Hey, what's up? You know, I was thinking about doing this because, I watched last week, and of course you all saw that I did a response to James and Mike's view on the new TMNT movie that's supposed to be coming out soon. So I figured, well, since they want to talk about what they would put in that movie, and since I wanted to respond it with my own kind of ideas, I figured, why not talk about some other movies that should be made, and what we would do with them. And let's go with the 80s, shall we? Let's take a look at something. Let's start off with one of my personal favorites, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Now, it's hard to believe, but Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers actually did have a movie planned for release in theaters right after DuckTales. But unfortunately, thanks to the negative criticism that DuckTales got, in my view, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, their movie, was shelved. But here's what I would do if I decided to finally make a movie on these guys. Now, I've mentioned in previous videos that you can always depend on the To the Rescue miniseries to be the movie. There's no doubt about it, because that's what it is. It's the pilot movie. But here's what I would do. If I really wanted to make a movie based on the Rescue Rangers, and seeing as though the characters themselves have been revived courtesy of Boom Studio Comics and the new adventures they got going there, I figured, why not why not try to do something similar? And here's what I figured we could do, what could be done if I wanted to see a movie get made. Here's what I would like to see get done. First of all, the first thing I would like to see done is have the question that many fans have been lingering and asking for and wanting to have an answer to for a long time since the series began. I want the answer, yes or no, who does Gadget finally choose? Does she choose Chip or does she choose Dale? Now, if you read the Boom Studio Comics revival of them, apparently we kind of know what direction they'll go with that answer. But if we wanted to do it movie-wise, I'd still want to have that question answered. Who would you choose, Chip or Dale? Next thing I would do, of course, with any movie, is I would introduce a new villain or villainess, a new antagonist. But I would introduce one that's always a step ahead of the Rangers. Like, just when it looks like they got a piece of the puzzle solved, part of the case solved, that's when they find out they just barely scratched the surface because the villain or villainess is staying a step ahead of them. That's what I would do. Thirdly, I have what is known as a passing of the torch moment. Now, I might get some flack for this, but what I would do by having a passing of the torch moment is I would have Monterey Jack, who's the oldest member of the group, if you will, I would have him pass the torch in his position to Foxglove. The reason I would pass it to Foxglove is if you go back to Boom Studios' revival of it, she's the only one-shot character that's made an appearance in the comics, so I would go with her. And the reason I would go with her is because she seems like the more logical choice. I mean, if you take a look at all the fan base items that have come out, fiction, artwork, she seems like the most logical choice. So I would do, like I say, a passing of the torch deal where she would end up having the torch passed to her by Monterey and thus taking his position as part of the team, while he sort of stays like in a semi-retirement state. Still part of the Rangers, but basically in semi-retirement and more like a mentor. That's what I would do there. So those are the items I would take care of. Gadget finally answering who does she choose, Chip or Dale, new villain or villainess, always being like a step ahead of the Rangers, just when just like I said, when they look like they've solved the puzzle and all that, they barely even scratch the surface. Have Foxglove become the newest member by having Monterey pass the torch to her, if you will. And then the fourth thing is, and this is something that has been done in movies, but this is something that I would do most definitely. I would have the Rangers be given new outfits. And what outfits am I talking about? Well, if you see a picture here, hopefully, you'll know what new outfits I'm talking about. The ones that were shown in the promo picture for when the Rescue Rangers were heading to the Disney Channel as part of the Disney Block Party. Now, I don't know if that picture that was shown, that people know, you probably know what I'm talking about. I don't know if that was a promotional picture of how they were going to look like when the series was proposed, if that's how they were going to look like if the movie was going to be made, or what. But that's the design I would go with. With the exception of Monterey. Because like I said, have him pass the torch to Foxglove, give her an outfit as well, and I would go with an outfit that a lot of fans, if you want to look towards the fan base for inspiration, for ideas, an outfit that one person, and I'll name him C and D, gave her. And I think a lot of people know what outfit I'm talking about. But overall, those are the top 4 things I would do. Now, if you want to go with a top 5, the fifth thing I would do is hold a contest. And that contest would be that the winner would have their fan character in the movie. And that the winner would even voice their fan character for the scene and cameo they would be in. That's what I would do. So, I know that last part sounds far-fetched and all that, and a bit of part 4 sounds a little far-fetched, but not much. When you consider it, it does sound like a good idea. But that's what I would do if I wanted to have a movie made. That's what I would like to see. If a movie was to be made, that's what I would like to see. Now, another movie I'd like to see get made, and excuse me for a second while I check my time. I got about 7 minutes here. Well, not 7 minutes, but a little 7.5. I've passed 7.5 minutes, going on 8 now. But another movie I'd like to see get made, and I'd love to see this get made into live action, especially with the special effects and CGI technology that we have today. I mean, take a look at Avatar, for example, and you'll get an idea. I'd like to see the 1980s cartoon Jace and the Wheeled Warriors. I mean, I tell you, you talk about something that could be a movie based on an 80s cartoon and toy franchise that could really take off and be something, folks. This movie would be just it. This would definitely be the best choice. I mean, yeah, you could tell them, I mean, you could do exactly what with Jason the Wheeled Warriors, you could do what they're doing with Transformers. You can make a trilogy out of this thing, a series of movies out of it. I mean, start with an origin story, of course, have a middle, and then have a third one where he finally reunites with his father. But go in those directions. And again, like I said, with the CGI and the special effects that they have displayed in recent years, like with movies like Avatar, like movies like Transformers, you know, you get the idea. I mean, do that, and use that kind of stuff for a movie like this, and the possibilities are endless. And just think about some of the young actors out there that could play Jace. You got, I can't think of the names right now, but you got those 2 guys, I hate to say, in Twilight. Use one of them. Use someone unknown that's probably on television. Use someone like that. And then for a character like Flora, I don't know, use a young teenage girl, like, I don't know, let's say, who would you choose on that? Like maybe, say, Selena Gomez, maybe. That's far-fetched, but maybe that's a good choice. maybe Anna Paquin, who did Rogue. Do her. Use her for it. I mean, this would be an unbelievable thing. You get what I'm saying, right? And then for the father figure, you know who I'd go with Jace's father? This may sound far-fetched. This may sound like it's the worst possible option. But I'd go with Harrison Ford. That's right. I'd go with Harrison Ford on it. Have him be Jace's father. I mean, that would be a great combination right there. I mean, overall, and then for the wizard guy, I don't know, Mickey Rourke maybe, I don't know, or Mickey Rourke or the Ian McLean, if he could still do it, have him be the wizard guy. And then for the guy that's I can't think of his name right now, the other guy that's part of the Real Warriors team. The one with the lock. I can't think of his name right now. The guy that pilots the ship that Jace is, has to, use to find his father. I can't think of his name right now. But have that guy. If you wanted to use somebody to play him, an obvious choice, my friend, is. It sounds crazy. But I know he could do serious roles. And he could definitely be challenged in an action-adventure role. Do Adam Sandler. I'm not lying, folks. Do him. Build him up a little bit if you want to, but do him. He would be a perfect fit for that guy. For the role of, that pilot guy, whatever his name is. But overall, that's a movie I'd like to see get made, especially with the CGI and special effects technology that we have today. Another movie I'd like to see get made? Well, it's kind of hard to say, but because there were so many great shows throughout the 80s and the 90s. But I'd have to say a movie I'd like to see get made is another 80s cartoon. And again, with the special effects and CGI, and and basically the location of it's always been in, I'd want SilverHawks. No doubt about it. You use the CGI and special effects of today for SilverHawks, and you have a movie that people will love. They will go and see this film like they've never seen anything before. I mean, the special effects and CGI alone would just blow them away. I mean, it would just blow them away. I mean, and the people you could choose to play the roles would just be unbelievable. I mean, people you could just choose. You see what I'm saying? And I'll be back in a little bit.